Is that it? Is it going?
It is going, it's moving, so that should be alright. I just wanted to give it like a couple of seconds because we missed some of the seconds before.
What do they call it? Lag?
Yeah,
I'm
suffering.
So
and I also want to just pay attention to the frames per second. At 21 we're still good, it's a little bit behind, but 21, 22,
yeah, whatever.
It's not 5, which we were getting a little bit before.
Yeah. Cracking Jacks,
yeah.
How are you?
Alright, been a bit unwell the last couple of days, but I was alright. Yeah, nothing major, just
how did you get
cold
on
flu.
with your thing?
I failed on Friday.
What do you mean failed on Friday?
To do exercise every single day. I was knackered from
Oh,
fighting.
right, okay. But
my body was
it does just say 6 days there.
Yeah, but still. Because
so
the 6 days because 6 days plus Vike is 7.
Okay.
So I couldn't do it that day.
Right, got you. So you've done 5 days, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but then I hammered it at Vike anyway. So I got about doing that alone was like 2 hours of about 400 calories on sort of activity. So
yeah. What else on there? £7 release, so £7 off in a week.
Yeah, that's right. So
2 sets of 20 press-ups, DDP 6 days, and watch the Goji Man vid.
I have watched the Goji Man videos. I watched a couple more. I did subscribe to him just to have a look.
It's an interesting fellow, isn't he?
He is. I think he's got the same issue of all people who talk about diets online. Because I also watch a couple of other people who, like, I've got one who's carnivore. He's like him, but the carnivore version.
Who's that? What's that guy's name?
I think his name's like Frankie Tehran or whatever. Okay. Now, what's really strange about
proper meat eater's name.
Like, he looks like a greaser as well. But the irony is, like, he'll pick on vegans about the way they look and all this sort of nonsense, right?
It's not on that.
And it's quite funny because I look at him and go, you don't look that great yourself.
Yeah, well.
And I don't, but I'm not saying that the Goji Man does this and the Goji Man doesn't do it in the same way. But I kind of sort of like, oh, have a look at this, have a look at that, have a look at that. And then sort of went, there's certain points I agree with on both of them, like for both of them. And then there's the points where it's going, well, it's just like, you're now just being a little bit snipey and I don't like that. So I'll occasionally look at the video and then go, oh wait, he's now just being a bit of a dick.
Yeah, what, the Goji Man fella?
No, the Frankie guy, but the Goji Man one, I go, there's a certain extent where his bias is showing.
In what way?
Because he's pro-vegan.
In his opinion would be for scientific reasons. I'm not defending him.
I'm not even putting him down. There's a times when you can see his bias coming out, but that might be because I'm now, my setting for bias is just like, yeah, I can see it, and I spot where it's like there's a bit there, which I'm not saying he's good. He's got good science behind him as well, but there's the point where it's just where it just you feel that shift over go where he gives veganism the benefit of the doubt over the meat on that one little shift, and I think I might be picking on one particular thing that he did, which was about nutrient density and on particularly that you can't get all nutrients from this and you can get all nutrients from that. And the big one that I pick on is vitamin B12.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the very rare ones that you can't actually get in a vegan lifestyle.
It depends. Having been there and being B12 deficient, yeah, it's really difficult. But I mean, it's really difficult for me for my very individual reasons. And it also depends on what science you're looking at for where B12 actually comes from.
Before even B12, talk about that. One of the things about calories, for example. Calories are absolute nonsense because the way they actually work out calories is they take the food that you're using, they whack it in a blender, basically, blend it all up so that post shows mastication and breaking down, and then they burn it.
Yeah. And that's how long it burns is how long your calories is. Yeah, I remember doing it in school.
It's a slightly little bit more scientific version of that now.
Yeah.
But that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
So that works in both ways. It's like when for like vegetables and plant-based products, etc., you will get, it will say that there's more calories because it burns differently and enzymes are used differently. And then the other way around at the same time, it still applies for meat in the other way, where you'll get more energy out of it, but then calories is a guideline at best.
I'm inclined to agree with that because, again, but I'll use my dad as an example. I don't know if I did in any of the other vids, but my dad is a meathead. He's absolutely, he's not a tall guy, but I tell you what, he's just a powerhouse. You wouldn't want to fight him. Nobody wants to fight him. He's just a powerhouse, and he's incredibly fit, he's incredibly strong, and he's 60 odd years old, but he's only ever eaten once a day. Well, how does that fit into anybody's calorie argument?
Well, that's fasting, isn't it?
Well, this is what we want to talk about this week, isn't it? But hang on a minute, are we now saying that not eating puts weight on? Well, I don't know. But then there's me again. I eat twice a day, pretty much vegan, mainly raw, and I put on 2 stone, all in muscle.
Yeah.
And people can argue with me all they want, but that's what fucking happened. That's what happened. End of. And that was no meat.
It's how you get the nutrients that you need, whether or not you can. So the eating one meal, okay. Well, if you're working really hard and like doing a physical labour-intensive job, and your one big meal is full of proteins and fats which for example, you need cholesterol to actually make cell membranes. You need proteins to break down to make into amino acids to then make into new proteins.
Yeah.
And so like you can have your one meal, and that could be the one meal that you need, and your body will then take what it needs from there to do whatever it can do.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't have enough of this, well, it can't do anything with that.
Yeah.
So for example, if you're lacking fats and sugars in that meal, well, no fats means there's very little growth anyway. No protein means there's going to be limited growth. It might, however, move from somewhere around the body.
Yeah.
But your body's going to take from there what it can, and then it's going to develop from there.
Yeah.
Because the body, as with the immune system, is anti-fragile.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's its situation?
The body wants the adversity, doesn't it, in order for
the whole point of
yeah.
working out.
You
damage muscle, it then goes, oh no, I need to make this better because that might be an issue in the future, so I'm going to make it stronger just in case it happens.
I tell you, this is the interesting thing about illness, and I've learned a lot about this with my own body. There you go. This is why autoimmune diseases, the term fucks me off, because there's no way my body is out to get me. There is no way. My body is fighting its ass off to heal, and if it is going through some kind of traumatic experience while it does it, it's because even though I've done that to the point where, I could have died, I still feel my body was fighting for me, not against me. It was fighting against something and to purge something.
There was just some collateral damage.
Yeah, and the body knows what it's doing as much as it got to the point in me where it was going to kill me, but that's because I hadn't adjusted my lifestyle in order to give my body a break.
Yeah.
Surgery and necessity and...
I was going to say the word that I fucking hate.
Go on, say the word.
There were too many toxins you needed to detoxify.
Well, yeah, I'm absolutely in agreement with that.
I hate the word though because it's colloquially used in the wrong way.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to detoxify by having... what's a classic one? I'll have a green tea enema or something. It's like, I'm sorry, but do you have a liver? Yes. Do you have kidneys? Yes. Are they working? Yes. Stop putting crap in, and then it will go away eventually.
I'm inclined to agree with that, which actually is, when I look at some of my targets on the wall there, is partly where I'm going to say I need support. My willpower this week has been good, but
found wanting.
Well, so for example, there was one day where I did have 2 sugars in a tea. I didn't stick with me one smaller sugar.
But it was 1 tea in the one day.
It was 1 tea in the one day. Although I've not done 3 sets of 25 press-ups once. Not once.
Yeah.
I've done 1 set of 25 press-ups twice this week. So when I come to the challenge, I expect to struggle because I actually did struggle.
I think there's going to be a little bit of extra mind over matter in the end.
Well, we'll see. But I mean, the point isn't to succeed on the channel. The point is to do it consistently during the week. So we get better, we get fitter, we get stronger. Blah blah blah. And I actually this week have become quite distracted and I lost a lot of focus.
I can agree on that one. That was part. I think probably this podcast turned into those moments of when you're not at full peak drive, I think is one way of looking at it. And I think it might be because it's the end of January. It might be because we've had the snow. I'm not even saying that. I think that's a silly idea because when none of us are doing that sort of January nonsense. But I think the snow. I think the snow hasn't helped.
I don't know. I don't give a shit. I wasn't going out anyway. I've had all week off.
I don't even think it's that. I think it might have had a bit of a difference on me because I was off on Wednesday because it's snow day.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. Maybe it's something to do with weather. Might be a number of things as well. I'm not too sure.
It's a case of being honest with ourselves right now. That's really what I want to do, like on camera, because again, this is very much therapy and accountability, and it's part of me recording my journey. And if I'm not honest with how and why I did or didn't deal with me last week, and then I'm not really going to be able to deal effectively with any other weeks like that. And also, you're not going to be able to help me deal with them things as well.
I'll take another one as well. I actually had a chocolate bar on Saturday.
Holy shit! What are you on?
I had what weight?
What chocolate bar?
I had.
We've not done the weight, have we?
I had a caramel.
Cadbury's caramel.
Yeah.
Because it's a sexy rabbit.
They didn't have a sexy rabbit on.
No. Where's the sexy caramel?
That only happens at Easter.
The sexy caramel rabbit only happens at Easter.
Yeah, she only appears at Easter.
Really?
Yeah, because she's a symbol of fertility.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they get rampant.
Okay. Right. Focus.
But the interesting thing about that, it actually made me sick. As in, not physically sick.
You reckon lactose?
No, because I have cheese.
Okay.
It didn't make me physically sick, as in both ends or anything like that. My stomach felt uncomfortable by the amount of sugar.
Okay. Yeah,
so you might have had the situation where you were younger and you've eaten too much chocolate.
Yeah.
I had that after one chocolate bar.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, that's an interesting experiment. There's an example that was I had the chocolate. I was like, yeah.
Do you know what? I had a day like that. Again, this relates to me lack of focus and willpower. I had a toast today. Yeah. But it was not a gluten-free toast day. It was a full-on Warburton's. I'm going to treat myself toast day. But you say treat, and it never ends up a treat, does it?
It's really strange, that idea that we have it when we're younger. It's built into our mind that you've been good. Have a treat. Have a sweet, and it's like
have something bad for you.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. So that's programming, that isn't it? That's the fact that literally is just programming.
Or you've been good. Here, I'll buy you something. Whatever it is, it's.
Well, that's different, I think.
No, it is different, but it's in a similar concept as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You call it a treat, but it's really not a treat. It's like saying, you've been...
It's promoting bad attitude.
Let's remove an eye.
Yeah.
Huh? Let's destroy your organ slightly. What?
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what you're saying, having junk food.
But then at the same time, what do you do in same fashion? Particularly in terms of parenting, as everything else. As an adult, we go... Actually, that's probably not a good idea. How can I treat myself? And that's when I'll buy something nice. But then you just go, oh wait, now I need the money to pay that. And that's just I've set myself up here for failure.
I tell you what, I have integrated a little bit of that idea in my life recently, in giving myself little rewards for doing things I don't want to do. And they're not rewards that are bad for me. They're rewards that are good for me. He says. Some of them have been toast and tea. I thought, right, instead of getting toast and tea, I'll do this wall and then get it.
Yeah.
And I'll reward myself that way. And I'm starting to barter with myself, and it actually works. Well, you can see I've got this nice new decorated flat, and it feels wonderful. I'm well happy about it.
Yeah.
And I did it with my video on my painting channel.
Yeah.
I actually got a great video, which has got the most views I've ever had for a single video.
We'll put the link in.
It's got almost 400 views for one video. I'm like, what? I didn't even know where that comes from. But
10 times more than podcast chapter 1.
But in less than a week.
That is impressive.
For me, that's so. I'm thinking of expanding on that idea. Anyway,
becoming a painter decorator.
Oh, let's focus on you a little bit here, mate. So 7. Right, weight. Give us your weight. What did you lose? Did you hit your weight target?
I am.
So you said you wanted to lose 7 pounds.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to think of the numbers. It didn't go as well as I hoped.
No.
I did have a massive dip after Vike though. It dropped like 2 kilograms after Vike.
So in pounds here.
In pounds. I haven't got my numbers now. Give me a moment while I look at my spreadsheet.
Well, while you do that, I'm going to get Steve Cornish's details up.
So we have had. I can talk while I'm doing it at the same time. We have had a person being involved, which is what we want. I don't know. Does it count as doxing if we go for his actual name to his name on YouTube?
I don't know, but we've had a guy give a pledge, so we're going to put his pledge in and we're going to whiz it on the wall. Here we go. Is it chapter 2, is it? Let's find it on my little...
Chapter 2. No, chapter 3. He's put on the later one, I thought.
No. It's chapter 2, got it. So the Goldfish of Justice is what he's called. So Mr. Cornish, because I know he is from Facebook. Really interesting to listen to. I'll join your challenge/improvement. Living a very sedentary lifestyle at the moment with all the painting. So he paints like I do. He'd like to be able to do 15 press-ups, though he could probably manage about 10 at the moment. I replied, go for it. 15 in total by next vid. So Steve Cornish, you're going to have to build up to 15 press-ups by next vid. What's the date for next vid? We're on the 3rd now.
On the 3rd, so it'll be the 10th.
So it's the 10th, innit? 10th Feb. Mr. Cornish, you're now on. And I've given some advice here about how I've always approached press-ups. Do as many as you can, 3 times a day. Or just do them as and when you feel like it during a week. I've got good results that way as well. And you'll be surprised how quick that your chest actually and your arms really get used to it real quick. And then build up to just 3 sets of 15 or whatever.
But make sure you don't break yourself. Because my chest was building up on Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, did it hurt?
On Monday afternoon, that was what. Which is really annoying when you're trying to write on the board and your arm just goes...
Yeah.
Which is a strange one because I'm actually using it as a motivation for certain students. Like, it's very easy for students to turn around and go to me, oh, but you're smart and you can deal with whatever. So it's like, okay, well, let's go into a field that I'm not good at. You clearly see that I'm 6'4" and overweight. And... for the record, I'm on 147.
How many pounds have you lost? Let's get
I need to do numbers because it hasn't updated on Dropbox, which really annoys me. See, I'm down to 1470 kilograms.
Yeah.
Which is from one. I think it's just under 15 kilograms.
You've not got the numbers with you now?
No, it's not uploaded on its Dropbox.
Oh, right.
Although, has it done it on this one? Because my phone might just be in special. Sorry, I shouldn't say that, it's inappropriate.
And it's fragile, eh?
See if it takes ages on here. It's on here. Whee! It's just not updated on my phone for some reason.
I realised as well, so when it comes to doing our pledges on camera, it's actually a lot of time spent fighting around off camera.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you still want to do them on camera this
We can do them off, and then if we have to, either way we can...
Well, what I mean is, even doing while we filming, it's still a lot of time and a lot of non-talking or whatever.
We'll record it separately and put it...
Or even, we'll just monitor each other.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm on 147 at the moment, which is 3.4 pounds, and last week was I can't remember now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 28th, I want to say.
Yeah, but I'd look at the calendar, but it looks like so.
Which seems like it's £8.
Really?
331 down to 323.4.
The 27th
27th.
was last Sunday.
Well, then it's £12.
You've lost £12 in a week.
Yeah.
And you pledged 7.
Yeah.
Wow. Tick.
But then I think at the same time, that's the only reason why it seems larger is because I was larger from last week because of going and seeing the family.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way.
The reason doesn't matter. Mate, you nailed it. You nailed it. Like
basically, my total weight in pounds that I've lost is from 355 down to 323. So that's £32 in 34 days.
Wow. So £12 in a week. £12 in a week. Holy moly.
There was a really big drop from doing the Vike, and I made sure that I wasn't. It's probably because I did partial not eating as well because it was parents' evening, so there was more stuff going on. And I'd set myself up going, I'm not going to have, because it would have been very easy for me on that parents' evening day because I didn't have a chance to go out for dinner.
Yeah.
It would have been very easy for me to quickly stop by a Subway or get something on the way home.
Yeah,
Instead, I just went, I got some Polish sausage, which is 90% pork, so it hasn't got crap in it. For example, anyone who's doing carnivore and wants a snack, Polish sausages, that sort of thing, look
like
for
a salami thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rest of it's just bits of gristle and whatever. But that's good, the extra bit of collagen and. But I had that, and I sort of just snapped for that day, and then it's I'll just deal with the rest.
Yeah. Well, so ego. So we've had the weight thing, we've got the press up thing to talk about in a minute. DDP and your exercise. You said 6 days. You did 5 days. You watched the Goji Man bit, which is on there. So the only thing we've got to do now is the press ups. But we said we were going to work on your form as well.
Yeah.
You still up for it?
Yeah.
Because I think it'll be unfair to measure you 2 times.
Yeah, because I can do that.
Well, no. What I mean is, if we were to improve your form, although feel free to take my soul, by the way, I reckon if we were to improve your form, you would find hitting 20
harder,
real hard. Yeah, because the way you do it at the moment is, and
I said a sea line.
Yeah, absolutely. But we have a reason for that, though, don't we? That's your size. But that's why I recommended books last week. If you a couple of books, and then you've got that space to accommodate. But at the same time,
I have
lost £12, so I might have accommodated for it as well.
I do have one that I want to do for next week. One before I forget, it's a kind of dirtier one, so it still counts. Is I'm just giving up at energy drinks. Full stop.
All right. So should we do that do next week's in a set?
Yeah, can do.
All right. Should we do some press ups now?
We can do.
Do you want me to do mine first?
Yeah, do you want to do one lot and then?
I'll do one lot, and I'll talk about how I set my form, because I have a couple of different ways of doing it. Some elbows in, some elbows out, and some somewhere in between, and they all do different things. And some would say one way is the proper way, and some would say the other way is the proper way. I personally don't care, because I feel they work different parts of me anyway.
Do you want me to do a plan B where I can swing that round rack on the front camera of that?
I'm not bothered. It's up to you. But I'm raring to go. I'll happily attempt me 3 sets of 25.
I can do one set now. I'll do one set of 20 and then.
Absolutely. But the question is for your first set of 20, for this pledge to ask you to do better form, I think would be unfair. Although it's do it. So if you want to do it.
Unless you want to do them closer to the end.
So it's up to you, but
let's do it.
You might be fucking knackered by towards the end of the other. Well, it's up to you.
No, I mean end of the podcast rather than now.
What, work on your form? Well, let's get press ups on feck it. Yeah, I'll do mine. So, 25.
Yeah, it's 25 on yours, isn't it? Yeah.
What's mine?
25, 3 sets of 25.
3 sets of 25 and 8 pull-ups.
Yep.
3 sets. which I actually think will be pretty tricky.
Do you want to do those first?
No, hell no. Hell no. Yeah, I always like press ups first. Some people might like to know, but I've not warmed up, and do you know what? I rarely ever do, and I don't get injured, and I never ever have.
Famous last words.
You know, so I don't believe in that business. Also, famous last words. Right, 25 press ups. I'm gonna go in between elbows out and elbows in.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what I like. So there you go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. The best thing about those press ups is slowly watching Tommy's head go more and more red.
What's interesting is I've done it twice this week, just 2 sets of 25 all week, and I actually struggled less on those last 5
than
I did all week. So there you go. Right, pull ups. I've been doing the chin up.
Yeah.
So palms towards myself on this girder here. Good, I've got a proper man house.
Yeah.
Right, and obviously my feet don't touch the floor, but I want to keep good form.
Yeah.
So I just allow my feet to come back to this position here, which obviously no one can see. So there you go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, they're not easy then.
No. Well, I can probably show that I can't do that. I don't.
Sweating. So the thing is, what makes it hard is there's nothing to grab.
There's no curl over.
Literally, I have to go like that. It's a good thing to work out as well, you might say. Okay, so I'll go through mine.
Yeah.
So
you've done one
sugar. I did have one little fail. Not that I want to focus on it, but
no, but it's one of those points.
Every other day was great. 50% more lemon water. I actually believe I failed that massively.
Yeah. Did you not record it?
I did record it. 44, including this one.
Yeah.
Cups of tea in a week.
How many lemon waters do you have?
I didn't record it. I just know I was not good enough.
Maybe next time record it because it seems to help with your sugars.
I always have a full pint with half a lemon in the morning, and a full pint of celery juice as well. Sorry, there we go. 5 4. Do you know why didn't I count me water? See what I mean? This is what I mean by focus. I've got it written down.
Yeah.
And I've not done it.
Yeah.
Why? So what that's all about upstairs. You could call it a lack of discipline. You could call it a lack of focus. But what they are is they're products of something.
Yeah.
A lack of decision-making skills. Well, that's still a product of something. So what's going on upstairs that empowers me to do the ineffectual thing?
Yeah.
That's ultimately what I'm trying to look for. So I can tweak that, Or the opposite end of the scale might just be that, do you know what? Maybe I'm not just that passionate about getting it right. I'm not.
Which is a question in its own right. It's
Yeah. And I can't honestly answer any, but I'm breathe. I'm well knackered, but I can't necessarily answer any. But what I can say is that tea has become a habit.
Yeah.
It's become a comfort blanket habit.
In essence, you're having close to 6 a day.
Is that right? Yeah.
Well,
Is that how
five.
Is that how maths works?
Yeah. 6 times 5 is... Sorry, 6 times 7.
You're a teacher, aren't you?
I'm not a maths teacher.
Do you want me to get me a calculator out? Where's my phone?
It's 42, because 21 times 2. It's 42. Yeah, so you have on average 6 a day.
Okay. So I don't think that's that bad.
I couldn't
but
comment.
if that's all I'm drinking, you know...
What's the question then? You're still getting the water from it, because tea's got is a lot of water.
So what it does do is, so tea, you've got polyphenols in it, which attach themselves to metals. So what that means is, if I'm having a lot of tea and food at the same time, so any good things like iron and zinc will say goodbye to all that. Then you've got tannins in tea, which shrink the lining of your gut, so it doesn't absorb as easy as well. So any other nutrients
have you thought that
eat around tea will be say bye to them as well.
Have you thought that maybe the reason why you're not gaining more weight is because of your tea?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. That's why this is on here. Sorry.
Maybe what we should do is, instead of worry about your lemon consumption, and worry about reducing the number of teas in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe instead of...
That is the point of all that.
Instead of going for 6 a day, maybe just even 5 or...
Yeah.
Because that's an easy fix.
Well, that's why we originally wanted to count them up this week. So now I know it's 44. So anything less than 44 is a win.
Yeah. I think you should aim for 5 a day, and then... But if you want to go steady, go 5 a day.
Yeah, so that'd take us to what, 37?
No, 35.
Oh, okay. I just took 7 off the...
yeah.
7 days in a week.
But there's 42, you put and then 2 extra. But if you aim for around 35, even if you do have the 2 extra, then it's aiming for 5.
Alright, okay. So yeah, I didn't count the waters. Gutted about that. Not thinking.
Do that this week then.
Give myself a tick there for each of the press-up situation and pull-up situations. Cool. Alright. Do you want to do some press-ups?
Yeah.
Are you game for the proper form, or are you just going to smash 20 out?
There's part of me going, I don't know, because I'm not feeling top form at this point in time.
Try it.
Yeah. Right.
Try it.
Plus, I'm wearing a bit more stable boots today, so...
They look brand new then.
They are new. My other ones I found out were slightly less waterproof in the snow.
So what you've got to do is, you've got to try... You
back's got to stay up.
It's got to stay up, but part of the reason you were sea lining, as you call it, or walrus or whatever you call it, it's because you tried to... Well, it's also because you tried to explode out of it. And you can't. You've got to control up and down, instead of you know what I mean? Control. So, you know, I have this rule that my knob, nipples and nose all touch at the same time, all lift at the same time, all the time. That's what I try and do. You know, but obviously you're in a different body shape situation than me. So you're just going to have to do whatever it is you can do.
I'm wondering if it might be easier to start down and then go up.
Whatever.
I don't know, I'm just thinking.
You know? And then it's I find press-ups easy. It might be different for you if the elbows are out as well. Whereas most people think the proper way is elbows in engages more of your tricep and more of your chest in general. Whereas elbows out engages more of the top end of your chest, or at least that's what I've always found. You know, more the length of your chest muscle as opposed to the bulk of it. But some nerd out there will correct me, and I'm happy for that. Yeah, man. Boosh. Miles better. So that's an exploding thing. Go through that. Don't let yourself flat down. Go on. Better form on these last 3. Do it, man. Come on, you got like 2 more to do. Shazam! There you go. I hope your counting was the same as mine, because I didn't count like the first 4. So.
I explained my 4 I've reached 20.
Well done, mate.
Once again, it's a good point that I've said. I am not in the best of state today, but still hit it.
Nobbled it, mate. Nobbled it.
Right.
So, what did you think of the Goji Man vid? Like, as far as so he goes on about oxalates and things like that. What the old meat eaters.
See,
I mean, how much of that do you reckon you've experienced, or are you going to do an experiment in order to see if you experience such things? Because again, just to reiterate, the only reason I got you to watch that video is just through caring about you, so you don't cut yourself off from what potentially is what is a balanced diet.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually integrating more and more meat in my diet. Not that I'm noticing anything necessarily beneficial.
Well, for a start, I'm taking multivitamins and stuff now as well. Just as a backup. I haven't noticed it, but it does bring a point up though, because there is this big one I see a lot, and it is the battle of the micronutrients with vegans and meat eaters. Not the macros. The macros seem to be, I might be getting this wrong, but...
Yeah, I'm not the man to talk about technical, but I know a man who is.
You know what I'm on about.
And it'd be top to get him on, actually.
Well,
because he's also now, he's been diagnosed with Crohn's, and he runs CrossFit gym, and he's an incredibly knowledgeable guy about what we're kind of going through, nutrition and fitness.
Yeah.
You know, that's his job. You know, so it'd be top to have him on.
So, to just put in context that what I think I call macros and what I think is called micros. So I might be wrong, but at least you know what I'm on about. Macros, as far as I'm aware, is what we're talking: carbs, protein, fats. I think I know them all, but my brain isn't functioning. And then micros are nutrients, vitamins, minerals. And so, like, this.
Here you go. Sorry. Macronutrients macro stands for macronutrients, which are nutrients required in large amounts. These include fats, proteins, and carbs that make up your calorie consumption. Micro refers to micronutrients, nutrients required in small quantities to sustain life, such as vitamins and minerals.
Yeah, so it was. So I got it right. That's right. And the big argument is
educational.
The ones that I've seen are the argument about getting. Be careful with your foot there, because that's.
I got you.
The argument is always for the carnivore one, where you're getting your vitamin C from, which is vegan to carnivore.
Yeah.
The other one that I've seen is the the carnivore to vegan is where you're getting all your complex amino acids from, and vitamin B12.
Yeah.
And then everyone gets really fuzzy about the ones in between.
Okay.
And I think it's not as simple as that.
I'm inclined to agree with you, because there are many successful and healthy vegan bodybuilders.
Yeah. Now, I think the one thing that I will contest on is this idea of vegan being more natural.
I don't believe.
I don't like anyone mentioning that.
Maybe you could argue more ethical, but ethics are always a matter of opinion and a matter of culture. They are not a matter of fact. It's a fact that they exist. They only exist because we construct them.
And I don't want to bring ethics up into the vegan carnivore debate, because it's a red herring.
Because it is a red herring. It is a matter of opinion. Ethics is a matter of opinion. Because
every meat eater that actually cares about what they're consuming, rather than just the ordinary person, goes, like, for me, I'd rather hunt for my food if I was allowed to, because then it's me, them, and they've had a free life, they've done whatever, and then me being part of that cycle. rather than what our current farming situation is, which, if they're being treated badly, I'm 100% against. And most people that are carnivores that actually care about that diet are like, yeah, we don't want that. And then there's the same time where you almost flip it the other way around, looking at the vegans and even some of the modern diets, like, that involve avocados, they involve fruit and veg from around the world, which then you can talk about global warming and so on and so forth, and carbon footprints and sea life dying for when one of these oil tankers go down, or avocados taking down sections of the rainforest just to grow avocados, and about the amount of water used there. Because that's the other argument vegans and carnivores have, is like, which one uses the most water and which one uses the most land mass? It's like, it's not simple. You can't put that number down.
Yeah, I agree. And this is why it is a giant red herring, and it's generally a lot of confirmation bias, speculation, people guessing and going, well, it's science, which is my giant annoyance.
You need to make that monolith.
I'd say it pisses me off, man. But people thinking they know best. In fact, I saw this vegan T-shirt. The moment I mention I'm vegan, you go from naught to nutritionist in a second, and like everybody seems to fucking know best, and nobody's asking educational questions for themselves, and nobody's then questioning the answers they then get from, for starters, one is this a reputable source?
I'd kind of like to ask, my question I generally ask them is, why are you vegan?
Well, it's not about vegans, it's about meat eaters.
Yeah,
well.
I know, I understand that. I'm just talking
to people as well. That's my thing, is I'm trying to find out what's best in general for health. I ain't trying to keep people happy, I'm trying to keep me healthy.
My thing that I'm thinking about is, it's very... We all go for this the whole point of the paleo diet, and which is the most natural, even though all our fruit and veg and animals that we have now are not the ones we originally ate 10,000 years ago, and so on and so forth. So that's crap anyway. But then let's go down the actual game. There's one society that is truly carnivore. The Inuits, Eskimos, and they're a fish-based one. Mm-hmm. But they're also in a very weird... They're not exactly in normal conditions you could play anywhere else. They're in pretty extreme environment. Then at the same time, if we even look at any other sort of place around the world that isn't in either extreme heat or extreme cold, so everyone in between that, some combination of the two, and it's more seasonal. The thing is, now we've lost that seasonal aspect.
I was having this conversation with somebody today, and it's exactly what I want my homework to be this week, by the way.
Because guess what? Oh, I love eating lamb, it's really nutrient rich, etc. Great. When you're having that, you're having it all year round, are you? Don't think that would happen before. Cows, same again, they've got a growing cycle. How many can you actually maintain? Now, we're not talking buffalo here, out in the Native American situation, in which case that is what roughly they did, and probably they actually had a more carnivore diet than they think, because they weren't carrying out farming.
Yeah.
And no one ever speaks about that, but that's a different point. Because they always think, hippie, the early hippies. But then if we go down everything else, so even early tribes, like if we take rainforest tribes and those slightly more uncontactable tribes that we have in the Amazon and islands, etc., they still contain insects and fish and so on and so forth. But they eat fruits as well. But I think the important thing is, once again, it goes back to that balanced idea that you eat what you do when you're hungry. I think the biggest one is they can't have an excess of any of them. Because guess what? If we are on a desert island, and we just take this room as a desert island, while we can catch fish, that's probably our best source that we can get hold of. For example.
You would hope.
Yeah, it's a good source of most of the stuff. It's nutrient rich, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
However, if you're not catching fish at that time, look, this fruit is in season, we'll eat that fruit.
Yeah, or
this
both
fruit, or both ends.
Because if you follow your gut, follow your nose, and if you are trying to live in more of a, you might call it holistic way with nature, intuitive way with nature is a better term, instead of a very conscious and calculated way with nature. If you follow your gut, you follow your nose, you follow your intuition, hopefully then you'll choose the right food.
It's like my body's going, I don't actually want that pizza anymore, because that is not what you need right now.
Yeah, man.
And so I think that needs to be taken into account, but we've lost that because we are detached from the food process.
Yeah, we're detached from nature. Is a good way of putting it. Well, that's the interesting thing, this will take us down a very interesting road, this. Even the caveman idea, well, that still hasn't been proven. And as people like Graham Hancock say regularly on his Facebook page, the human race is getting older all the time. Not in the fact that, well, it's now 9 o'clock and in a bit it'll be 10 o'clock. You keep saying that the early dates for when human was civilised keeps getting earlier and earlier and earlier.
Easily 10,000 years ago or more.
And beyond.
The Sphinx is 9,000 years old, and that was even older than that because its head's been changed and it's been weathered by rain, not sand.
So but we're getting into the realms of what you might
crypto archaeology.
Yeah, or pseudoscience or conspiracy theory. All holes I'd love to go down. I absolutely get a kick out of all that business. I think it's great stuff. But at the end of the day, it's still the theory of evolution for us. There's still a missing link.
I think I'd clarify that because I know what you mean, but then I want to be pedantic on the terms.
You go for it. Yeah.
Is the reason why it's a theory of evolution is because it's not a law of evolution, which is the scientific change of words. And people attack the idea, it's a theory. It's like, no, it's a scientific theory. This is what we're pretty sure happened.
Yeah.
But since we weren't there, we can't see the actual genetic little things. There is molecular biological, there's molecular evolution, and we can look at that.
Mm-hmm.
But as a large, massive point, we can't go, well, we think that the Darwin's finch has changed because of insects, seeds, and so on and so forth. What we can't say is, there was a flood 2 years ago that killed off this plant over here that said that. It's like, no. Fossil records, well, we believe that these bones extended because of this, and we've got most of them, and we can spot where it is by a whole field known as biogeography.
Mm-hmm.
But, and there is a big but.
You cannot lie.
Yeah, and it's got to be put into context once again,
because
every actual scientist, and I'm not even putting me as on the pedestal on that one there, an actual honest scientist that actually follows the scientific principles rather than the monolith of science will go, oh, someone's come up with a better theory than me, someone's come up with better evidence than me, awesome.
What are your qualifications, by the way?
I have a degree in biology with Science Society.
With science what?
Science and Society, which is basically involved the study of science, technology and medicine. Okay. So I was involved in the history of it. So kind
of like anthropology, but in a medical way.
Well, in all science. So I looked at nuclear weapons, the internet age, science communication in general, science fiction and fantasy writing, and how that implements people, and how medicine's developed, and also how to deal with quarantine and all this sort of. It really expanded my sort of how things develop, and this is why possibly I've got a little slightly different outlook, because I've gone into the deep ethics part of why are we doing that? Is that right? And is there an argument about whether it's right or wrong?
Yeah.
And some of my ethics have come from last year during my self-development of going, what is my morality? Where do we land? And I don't think enough people do that, and then they come across that challenge in front of them and go, I don't know, but someone over here told me to do this.
Yeah, that's dangerous behaviour. That what's interesting is, I'll tell you about my morality. I came to, it's probably when I was about 20, 21, I came to terms with my own morality around that time, and I came to this conclusion because I was at that time becoming a very ethical based vegetarian and vegan when I was really young, but the more I mulled it over, it only comes back to this conclusion. Whatever it is you think you're taking or think you're giving, you pay it all back at the end.
Yeah.
No matter what, the end is Judgment Day, if you will. If you want to go spiritual, or it is just the end of it and there's nothing there and nothing actually mattered anyway. Either way, it all kind of doesn't matter. Because whatever you take now, it will be paid back to you in the end. Yeah. And
it's a bit like the Inquisitor thing that I was talking about, Red Dwarf, I think it was last episode, that essentially you've then got to face yourself.
Yeah. And it's all okay. That's the other thing. It's all okay. It's part of nature, and when I say nature, I don't mean
all the birds and bees. I mean everyone.
There's somebody listening to this who'll be like, you mad. But
actually, I want you to post if you've got a complaint about anything we've said, because then that's more interaction.
Yeah. It helps the algorithm.
Yeah.
Right, but
we love your hate.
Nature is more. Nature is about more than just plants and animals.
I think we forget that we're part of it.
We are a symptom of it, and we are part of it. The lamp is part of it. The PC is part of it, because maths is nature as well.
This is our termite mound.
Well, yeah, everything. But you're getting into the realms of physics essentially, and it's all part of it. Being evil is part of it. Being saintly is part of it. Being anywhere in between is part of it.
I said evil is a perspective.
Yeah. Pain and suffering, joy and rapture, whatever you want to call it, it's all part of it, and it's all there to be experienced without a doubt. That's what we're here to do. We're here to create, and not only do we create lives, we create each other. We also create experience in creating and in taking away. And it's all to be integrated.
Talk about good and evil. Can I borrow your whiteboard? Because I'm going to explain the clock of evil.
The clock of evil.
The clock of evil. This is kind of my invention-ish. I don't know. I might have got it from someone some years ago. But the clock of evil, and because I'm a teacher, I can do it upside down. So.
Oh well done you. Go for it. I'm very interested. Make sure you keep it in the screen, yo. Do you want me to hold it? I'll hold it. I'll hold it.
So that's all right, because then it's like holding your model and also the paintbrush. If someone else holds it.
Yeah, let's go like that. I'll try to get the light off it. Oh. Yeah.
So.
Alright, yeah.
As I go circle. Right, so.
Yeah. Okay.
So, basically, if we just take it as a simple clock. Just so we've got a 9 there, okay? Really rubbishly drawn. The numbers don't actually matter.
They do to me, that's why I'm making this one blatantly at 6.
Yeah.
It looks like a little sack with a knot tied on the top of it.
Okay, right. So, what we've got now is this side. That's good.
Yeah.
Good, but plus. This side is negative.
Yeah.
Okay? Evil. So, if you do anything good, you go this way. So you do anything good, you go more up towards 1 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
You go anti-clockwise. If you do anything evil, however, you go clockwise.
Okay.
So, most people, when we call it from something like most people probably end up mostly around there. Okay, in between our gap here, between basically
Pensions.
5. Yeah, moving backwards and forwards of doing minor little bits of good, evil. And when I say good or evil, it's just like, oh, well, I took an extra biscuit at work, which I wasn't meant to. Oh, okay, I've taken some.
It's your day lost to my extra sugar.
Yeah, and it's not, that sort of, or I told that little lie, or whatever, you push slightly further in the queue. That sort of nonsense. It's not a big giant. Because this is what I described, this is boring in a regard. It gets exciting when we're talking up here. And we're now talking about the Stalins, the Mussolinis, the Pol Pot, and then the swap round. The person who I've forgotten his name, which really annoys me because he's actually one of the great people of our time that we keep on forgetting, is the man who...
Del Monte!
No, got the cure for polio and then didn't copyright it. Gave it free. Exactly. Yeah, he's one of the people that we forgot his name, but he got the vaccine for polio.
Do you want me to find out?
Yeah, because it's really annoying me now and it feels like I'm failing him as well. So those sort of people who save people.
You remember his face, but you don't know his name. Great with faces, well, great with faces.
I know. I can see the black and white picture as well in my head now. Yeah. It really annoys me.
But he's got a beard. He's got a beard.
No, he hasn't. He's got glasses and hair. But like I said, this is where it gets more interesting because you're now playing the game of where you're saving people's lives, not just 1 or 2 people, which is a good act, or even killing people is a bad act. But then there's a justification then killing people to a certain extent. But up the top, as we're talking about people who saved millions of lives or killed millions of lives. So
what you're saying is it takes effort to work your way.
Oh yeah, these are like five people.
So it's kind of like you're right about the clock not being necessarily relevant.
Yeah,
I see that.
But it's a way to visualize the moving pendulum swing. The top bit up here though. So if you are
Jonas Salk.
Yeah, that sounds like right. So if you're Dr. Jonas Salk,
yeah,
and you're so good and you save so many lives due to polio, well, guess what? What happens if you're the priest that saved Hitler? Because that's what happened in World War One. Arguably, he saved one person's life. There was a priest who saved Hitler in World War One and helped save him.
You're saying he did something little down there, but actually it created something big up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the Hitler that goes that way does an evil thing. Now he killed 6 million people plus.
Well, the moment you say the priest who rescued or saved Hitler's life, we all think about this priest saving this guy in a Nazi outfit, but that's not how it works.
It's not. It's a poor teenager in World War One who'd been hit by a gas attack.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's the time when, well, here's where it gets really messy. So we've got I've forgotten his name already. We've got a person who cures cancer. Folk. Basically.
Well, that's polio, but whatever.
Yeah. I'm choosing someone else. Someone who cures cancer right now. Okay.
Yeah.
That means you'll save ridiculous numbers of people. We don't even know. Let's call it 1 billion people.
Yeah.
Because that's easily
going to
do that.
Overpopulation.
Yeah. So people are going to starve to death.
Yeah. So that's also why this is this continually.
Well, it's not even continuing because then it starts coming over here, and then you sort of go, "Oh wait, it's causing millions of deaths." Does he go back? Where's he go?
Yeah.
And then you've got the other time around. You go, so let's take Stalin because we've talked about Hitler far too much. So Stalin killed, on estimate, 60 million people. Mm-hmm. What was if one of those people would have done something that would have meant blowing up the earth and killed 7 billion people plus?
Yeah. So now, he's essentially, by killing 6 million people, he saved the earth because he's killed that one person that would blow the earth up.
Yes.
Right, I get you.
So
what you're saying is vegans need meat eaters and meat eaters need vegans and the guys in between all need everybody else.
Yeah.
And we all need each other because
and
we're
just
all part.
And it's the other point as well, it's just because someone's doing a good act doesn't mean it's good in the scheme of things.
Absolutely.
Which is why sometimes when you do charity work, so you get into college to do medical degrees, means nothing and everyone does it, so don't do it.
You're looking at the screen.
I know, but then I realised it's up over there.
No, camera. We need to put eyes on it. If we put a little face on it, then we'll talk to the
smiley face moment.
Yeah, that was very enlightening. I like that a lot. I look at things like that in almost a concentric ripple kind of way.
It's a way to understand, and I think the reason why I looked at it is a way to understand what is actually evil.
It's a matter of opinion.
To quote Metallica, am I evil?
Yeah, you are.
And I'm fine with that. And because sometimes
we all are, and we all are not. That's what it means to be part of the universe. It's yin and yang, positive, negative, alpha, omega.
Do you need to be the order in chaos or the chaos in order, or?
Yeah, well, you are. Anyone who thinks that they've got it perfect and they've got it consistent and on and on and on, are talking shite. That's sanctimonious. That, and I ain't got time for it.
And the other one, anyone who's self-righteous.
Yeah.
Whether they believe they're the ultimate evil, ultimate good. The ultimate good.
20 more press-ups. Come on, we've both recovered now. Go on, yeah.
Anyone thinks, oh no, I'm going to save the world, I'm the ultimate good. 100% is not.
Yeah, absolutely, because
they're ignorant of their own evil.
Yeah, and they're arrogant.
Yeah.
And they'll also complain more.
Yeah.
Unless they're more humble than anybody else. But I found here's an interesting little thing I learned. People who complain are arrogant. And I was like, alright, why would they? Well, because they're saying they know best.
Yeah, I need it this way.
And they don't know best. People who complain are arrogant. And I've been that guy, and I've caught myself recently. This little journey of self-development.
Unless you pay attention, but I think it should be done this way. Is there a reason why it's not done this way?
Well, that sounds more professional, which is different. That's about objective, and...
But you can do that in everyday life as well.
You can do that in everyday life.
I think that's the moment when you find...
It's very sterile, isn't it?
No, but I think that's one of the things that you need to do at that time. When you go to that moment of, I'm complaining about something.
Well, you don't
stop.
have to complain. You could just say, "Can I have it this way, please?"
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But then you've already done that, haven't you? You've just swapped it because you've gone through that extra step in the thought process. Your emotional process, don't like this. Don't like thought process. This must change, and then rather than going through that cycle of bad behaviour, going, "You change this for me," and so on. It's like, "Thought, could you do it this way for me?" And if they go, yeah, sure, no problem. Well, then there's no problem. But if they go, "No, I can't do it that way," you go, "Why?" But then there's always that moment there. It's like, is that so why can't you do it that way? I'm just interested.
See, the way you're doing it actually isn't complaining.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to experience this. Yeah, you are after information. It's about creating understanding, whereas complaining isn't about creating
Can I see a manager if I've not got the right haircut?
Well, complaining isn't about seeking understanding, is it? Complaining is about getting your own way.
Now,
whereas seeking understanding
I've just done it today.
Will create resolution, I suppose.
Yeah. Or at least then I can understand their position.
Yeah.
Like, why can't this be done? Okay, well, this might not work, this might work, this... And it needs to be applied to a lot of situations. It's like, if you think something must change, which is a perfectly reasonable thought, something must change because I don't like the way it is now.
Yeah, okay. If you're a customer is a great way of looking at it.
A customer is a good one.
Yeah. And
you can turn for like lots of the news these days is looking at like what the government's doing and all this sort of stuff. And I'm not going to even bring up what. Choose if you're USA or UK, you've got plenty, or anyone else around the world. There's something that the government's doing that you don't like, or there's someone else that doesn't like and they're making a big fuss about it.
Yeah.
You have to be honest to yourself and to everything going on. What is happening? Why is it happening? And is there actually some way that you can be productive in that system to it? Not going, I need this, you're wrong, you're evil, you're bad.
That's been bred into us, that attitude. I think that's exactly why.
Well, we haven't evolved for truth.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing to say.
We've evolved to it. Okay, so let's go.
You say evolved, or has it been cultured?
No. This is evolutionary.
Okay.
So let's go back to Fred and Barney. Okay.
Yeah.
So Fred and Barney. And so we're going for. They're now. It's round 2 of Mastodon hunting season, not round 1. So they've missed this one. Right. So Fred and Barney's. We're role playing this kind of situation.
We're not in 3 BC anymore. We're in 2 BC.
Yeah. So
work that out. Yeah.
No, because that would be in Roman times, so we quite clearly got that one.
Ah, well, maybe the around
20,000 years ago. Now,
and
plus,
plus 2 years
before recorded history. Let's do that.
But there was a cartoon made of it, so it must have been recorded
with Christmas trees. But let's not start with that one.
And drive-ins.
Maybe Jesus' second coming was the nativity. Let's not worry about that. And bowling. It's like, what?
And vinyl, but it wasn't vinyl. It was made out of rock with a toucan for a stylus.
What can you say? They're big fans of rock music. And sorry, Fred and Barney.
Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah. Stone Roses.
Right, go on.
Anyway, we digress. And so they've got the situation of, I think we should go out and go get the second Mastodon.
Okay.
Not the first one. I was like, look, we've done it.
Who's saying that? Barney.
Barney's the one who's going further. Well, yeah, that was the way we had it, I think.
No, Barney was the waste.
No. Fred was the waste of time because he's always happy.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Barney was always happy, I'm pretty sure.
Fact checkers, comment below. I've done it again. And either way, it doesn't make any difference, okay? What comes down to discussion is, I think it's a good idea that we go and kill another Mastodon because we get more meat, we get more food, we get more cloth, and we're going to be better off in the society.
Yeah.
Fred, the opposite, goes, I think it's a bit dangerous. We could have died next time.
Go vegan. No, carry on.
Whatever. You could use that as an argument, though.
Alright, go on.
You could go for the case of the other one. But fruit's in season now. It's getting up to spring. We've got the fruits. Why should we risk ourselves to do that? And you didn't want to go out hunting in the first place. I convinced you in the first place that this was a good idea. Yeah. We've done it once. Why don't you do it again? We might die. Why don't we? We lost Steve last time, remember?
Yeah, he wore that red shirt, didn't he?
Yeah. No idea how he died there, but probably some iron composite in the ground.
He appeared one day in a lab. That's what it is.
And some bloke who talked weird. And
Nanu.
No, I was talking like
wrong
start giant large motions. But basically, where it is better off for you to now not argue for the truth, but rather argue your position. It's better for you. For example, mating. You should totally mate with me. I'm really good. I took down that mastodon.
I really don't want to mate with you, mate.
I know, but we got. But that's what I mean. It is a mating strategy. It's better for me. Like, oh, look, pick me up. It's better for you to come with me because you get close to the fire.
So this is your point. Is ultimately it's spread into us to lie and make ourselves appear more than we are.
To enhance the truth, but not
in order to
benefit ourselves more than anyone else. So we don't have a objective truth. It never evolved because it's not beneficial to us to reproduce. So it didn't evolve in us until now.
How do we know that?
And through similar models like that. And also through psychology.
Interesting. Well, how does then being honest with ourselves with things like this, how is that really how we get in places? Or is it the effective way of how we get places?
So, this is where we play the game of, are we playing evolution or are we playing nurture?
Okay.
So, or you could argue nature or nurture in this case. But
yeah, well, I mean, can we evolve as individuals right now? Or do we nurture?
Arguably, yes. But and I'm going to use mating strategies because it is the appropriate term. Whether or not it is for mates, that's the drive and process that works. So if we have the situation now, we're trying to make ourselves better people.
When I say we, I mean literally just me and you.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Our offspring.
I'm talking about us. Right, okay. So we and anyone who's joining us in our adventure, are trying to better ourselves, whether it's mind, body, soul, all of the above.
Yeah.
That makes us more viable and better as runners. It also, now you can argue about whether or not that's even true, but guess what? It strengthens our position for our point of argument. They go, oh look, someone can't do anything. Okay, well I did this. Why can't you? Suddenly now my position, that's in a position of benefit for me to show up to someone else like, oh, well, I can't do something. I can do that. Let's go. Let's do it.
That's not about putting them down, though.
It's not about putting down, but it's the same process, isn't it? It's not objective truth, because it doesn't have to be objective truth. They don't know, and it doesn't matter whether or not they can do it. By the fact they're saying they can't do it, and I'm saying I can do it,
immediately gives you a hierarchy.
It puts you in a hierarchy in a different spot. Therefore, evolutionary, by doing this and putting ourselves in pressure, trying to find our objective truth, it actually strengthens our argument. So in essence, we're making ourselves in a better argumentative position, even though consciously we're choosing, I think this is the objective truth.
So how is that then? Nurture or evolution?
This is where it's actually the same thing.
Okay. It's like we're talking epigenetics then, through this experience.
We're talking about the thing that people forget about is everyone thinks evolution is a straight genetic situation. It's not. It includes behavioural.
Which is epigenetics, is that right?
Which can involve epigenetics, which is what we take in.
I assume you know what epigenetics is. Do you want to explain it for people?
So epigenetics, so we've got our DNA which codes for basically our actual chemical makeup when we're born. Now even that's not strictly true because of course our DNA, each of our cells has the same DNA in it apart from our gametes, our sex cells, so sperm and egg. However, as you should hopefully know from at least year 7 or something on that back to your GCSEs.
Anything like that,
specialised cells. So for example, your hair follicles and stomach cells, they're all different. The reason why they're different is different parts of your DNA is read in different cells. So some isn't being used. Epigenetics is basically the similar effect. It's just wound up differently because we've got histones that wrap our DNA up so they can only be read in certain parts. A bit like an old-fashioned radio wheel. Like only one bit's getting read at any time. So if you put lots of loops in different spots, only different bits get read. Now you can actually affect these by different chemicals and different effects. So you can cause different things can be read at different times. This is epigenetics. So there are times where we might be allergic to, for example, nuts, but by actually introducing nuts, you can actually start to control this in an epigenetic fashion. So it's basically DNA, and then we can change it. And then there's more complex forms of it. So it's basically on top of DNA, on top of our genetics.
That was a bigger and more complex explanation than I anticipated. What? No, so let me just get it right. So the DNA in my fingernail, because I was just biting.
Not a fingernail. Doesn't have DNA in it.
Your fingernail doesn't have DNA.
No, it's like hair. Same stuff.
Wow, crackers. What? So you're telling me that CSI is wrong when they find somebody's pube at a crime scene?
No, they find it underneath the fingernail.
What?
So underneath your nail, you know when you get that dirt and stuff underneath there, you've got dead skin cells underneath there.
Okay.
And they can dig that out. So for example, if I claw at your face, I'll get some of your DNA on it.
Yeah. But
it's not from the fingernail.
If your nail was lodged in my head, we wouldn't be able to tell that was you.
No, but there's probably some of my cells underneath it because it's been
that's
under
very interesting, and that counts for hair as well. So
hair
doesn't contain DNA.
It doesn't contain DNA, but if they get the hair follicle, then it can.
Okay, so
where it grows
if you get
from.
the root, that's where the DNA.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting nugget of information. That so the DNA in my foot then is the same as the DNA in my eyeball.
Yeah.
It's the same as the DNA in anywhere of a part of my body.
Yeah.
However, there is an object that reads different parts of that DNA strand. So the DNA is complete in my foot, it's complete in my head, even though it might be a completely different physical object. It's still the same copy. It's still the same copy of vinyl, like you said. But epigenetics essentially is this tool that reads it. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's basically we've got enzymes that read it.
Okay.
So little tiny biological machines that read it.
And these little tiny
but
biological machines. Sorry, 1 second. I want to get it right. So these tiny little biological machines, they're the thing that decide a foot looks like a foot. Because if the DNA is the same, why doesn't a foot look like a head?
Yeah.
And it's these little enzymes that go, I know, on the foot, even though we're reading from the same piece of music.
Yeah.
Actually, we only need the trombone part.
Yeah.
We only need.
And then the histones are the bits that decide what bit you're playing.
Okay.
So they're the bits that are saying, oh no, you can't get to that. You haven't locked up that character yet, so to speak.
Interesting. Alright.
And
so what then is epigenetics now? I've got that bit clear.
Epigenetics is basically how you've essentially either wrapped up that DNA, so what parts can be played there.
Okay.
Or there's also now being able to do other different effects, which is actually turning on and off genes.
Yeah.
From external means by doing different chemicals, which I've seen, and I
like
can't remember the specifics.
And things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm going down the Wim Hof hole to understand you a little bit, because Wim Hof can change his DNA.
A good example is heat shock proteins. So extreme heat and extreme cold, those are produced epigenetically. As far as I'm aware, I might be wrong, but as far as I'm aware, the epigenetic effects are basically something that's affecting my body. Our body then needs to basically sort out its histones, so it goes, right, we need to prepare for this. Start reading that bit of DNA, we need to make these proteins to actually cause these effects. So that is an epigenetic factor. And if we stayed in extreme cold positions, then we're going to change to suit that. Another example that happened over time was the fact is a genetic situation is skin colour. Melatonin in the skin. Melatonin is about sleep.
Yeah.
Melanin.
Yeah.
Which would have been a reasonable amount of epigenetic factor became more permanent because we have then paler people in Northern Europe and Russia and so on and so forth. They needed paler skin to get more vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas darker skinned people who aren't in less humid and cloudy environments don't need it as much because they get loads of sun, so they don't need it as much, and they're more likely to suffer from UV light damage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's changed, but it would have probably started off as an epigenetic factor and then became permanent change.
Okay.
So it would have been
within an individual's lifespan.
Yeah, possibly. or over lots of different generations. I'm talking here about using my
different.
knowledge. I might be wrong.
Okay. So I want to clarify something here, because I'm using the word epigenetics and you're using the word epigenetics. All right.
I think that's pronunciation.
So, well, let me just tell you what I have been talking about, at least what I think I've been talking about. Then I'll dive and we'll have a look at what the internet says. That all well of truth. All right. So epigenetics is memories passed down through DNA. So in that, if mummy rabbit has a baby rabbit, baby rabbit then sees mummy rabbit eaten by a fox. Baby rabbit has new baby rabbit, becomes a mum itself. That baby rabbit, through the trauma, remembers through genetics, not through obviously experience, that the fox is going to eat it. And you might call that instinct or whatever, but that instinct, that is a memory passed down through DNA. Epigenetics as opposed to epigenetics. So that's what I was talking about. Now I'm not saying that I've got it right. I'm clarifying what it is I meant. So I'm gonna dive and see if there is a difference.
So in response to that scenario, there's a point of where that's behavioural. I thought you were going to go a different way, which is one that I can talk about as well. But the avoiding the prey-predator relationship, and how do you know that's predator? That's partly neurological, based in the womb, as far as I'm aware, and shape recognition, just like how we see faces everywhere, because we're trained to see faces because we're highly social, and so look, there's a bit of toast and it's got a face in it. It looks like Jesus. And it's like, yeah, that's because our first thing we should look for is face, because that's how we communicate with each other a lot more. It's one of the major reasons why men don't normally like talking on the phone, but they like seeing someone, because men are more likely to look at facial actions and body language about what they're doing, because it's the whole hunter situation of over there, and it's why we've got whites of our eyes, because if I'm looking that way, you can tell. I don't think the camera can tell, but you can tell why with my eyes.
Well, you could tell from a real long distance. At least I can anyway. I'm pretty damn sure my eyesight's better than most people's. And you can tell when somebody's looking at you, even if you can't see their eyes.
Even if you're like that, you can see the...
Yeah, absolutely.
You can see that. And it might be harder when you're actually going, oh, damn, I see the white side. It's little things, and your brain goes, no, they're looking at me. And it's a defense mechanism and communication mechanism. But then at the same time, it's like dealing with predators, behaviour, and those sort of actions. So we can go down that. Yeah. The one that I know is a good case of epigenetics is the effect of hormones on offspring. So, I'm going to take humans, because we've done in this case, and it's shown in humans. It's quite a weird one, and it happens in mice and so on. Can you find a difference or not?
There is a difference. However, there is more explanations for epigenetics, and Google is pushing me to look at epigenetics. And it really is being pretty... It
is, as far as I'm aware, it's still a thriving field, so to speak.
So epigenetics is definitely something different.
Fine. Because you found a YouTube video.
Though it is not giving me any clear... This is what it is. It's not like Wikipedia.
Yeah.
It gives you a little summary at the top. But it's like going... Did you mean epigenetics? No, because there's plenty of stuff that says epigenetics. So I've not obviously got something wrong. Epigenetics, changing your DNA. An interview with Bruce Lipton is someone I'm actually quite familiar with. Bruce Lipton on epigenetics and quantum mechanics. If we dive into the quantum field, then
we need David.
Dave's the astrophysicist. If anyone wants to listen, have an astrophysicist on, then I reckon we get him on, because
we'll do it after Rob though.
And his metal is fake. Yeah. Is Rob? Will Rob be allowed? I hope he will be allowed.
Yeah, as long as you don't talk about his job.
All right. So what we're going to talk about?
Well, I presume he's had a thing for the he would know because he would have signed on certain things that he can and can't talk about.
Okay.
Because
that's
official
up for him
secrets
to
act,
decide,
etc.
isn't it? At the end of the
Plus,
day.
we'll have plenty more to talk about than his job specifically. He's not any like Secret Service or anything, but
Here's
still
an interesting thing. Sorry, I've just clicked on epigenetics on fandom Wikipedia thing, and epigenetics. The first thing it starts to explain is epigenetics is a term in biology used to refer to features such as chromatin and DNA modifications that are stable over rounds of cell division, but do not involve changes in the underlying DNA sequence of the organism. That's a lot.
that's what I was saying.
Right. Specific blah 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 blah. But there's nothing in etymology. I'll need to read. I don't want to bore anybody with this, but it.
The other one that I was talking about hormones in particular. So if you get a mice, and this applies to humans as well, as far as we're aware, but we can't do the tests on them because ethics. And
like ethics has ever stopped us testing anything on animals.
in modern science, in the West, and under high visibility scenarios,
There's some law. There's some law somewhere that says certain people, certain scientists, if you're allowed to kill people, if it's for research.
Well, it's like the thing in China.
Scary thought.
The guy who used CRISPR to alter the DNA of a child. I can't remember what about, but they had a disease, and basically, the HIV, and they removed that part and they fixed it, so the child doesn't have HIV and they're perfectly fine. But they didn't say when they did it, and basically the child's now living perfectly fine, and this scientist has disappeared from China. You don't know where they are.
Oh, okay.
So there's a good example of ethics being in question about. Yeah, there probably is one or two scientists who've done it, but then they disappear out of the way. If they are doing it, you're not hearing about it, is the correct term.
Well, this is my problem where people that look at, is these published studies on X, Y, and Z. Well, what about the unpublished ones?
Yeah.
And who decides whether things get published or not?
The question is there someone pulling these strings to take things down?
Of course there is. I mean, I've experienced that just in my own health journey. The amount of bullshit I've found. You know, in fact, we're both experiencing it. You know, you're doing your meat diet. I've done whatever diets I've done.
By now I should have scurvy.
By now you should have scurvy, and I should have wasted away. You know, but I haven't. I'm thriving. So you know what?
And then also at the same time, as I mentioned, not one of these. They're like the one that, like I said, the Frankie sort of people would attack is these ones who are actually seriously, unwell and emaciated, but I think that's less about the actual diet of veganism, but more the case of they're taking. Well, I'm taking this fourth shake of this day from this powder that's done this.
Do you know what I think? Mindset is a massive part of it. Absolutely, mindset. If you're gonna lose weight and you're determined to lose weight, you'll lose weight.
Yeah, that's part of my graph.
That'll be the bigger part, more than diet, I think.
Well, even take today, slightly bad today in one of the things. I ended up going to shop to get an energy drink because I just needed a bit of boost to get going today. But I was going, do I kind of want chocolate? And then I walked into the newsagents and went, no, I don't. It's going to make me sick. And so I picked up, I wanted something other than my usual thing that I'm having at the moment. So I picked up a meat-based frikadellen thing.
Frikadellen?
German, yeah. It's basically like a pork hamburger sort of thing.
Got you on. No energy drinks.
And I picked up that. And yeah, it's not my whole suitable diet thing, but it's a billion times better than chocolate.
Yeah, man.
And it's just my thought process went, I want something different, good. Don't pick up any crap then. It's at least better. It's got meat in it and it's not processed chocolate, because it's like you're not going to find chocolate in the wild, and like if you went to now someone's going to be a prat and talk about cocoa beans, but you can sort of
that is not chocolate.
That's not chocolate. Yeah. I'm not going to get this pile of like sugar, butter, cocoa beans, and if you put all that together,
rabbit.
I'm not going to get caramel. I like there's lots of stages involved in this.
Yeah.
If I gave that to a tribes person who's never come across anything that sugary, they'd probably instantly get diabetes and enter a coma.
Have the shits for a week.
Yeah, they'd think I'm trying to kill them.
Yeah.
They'd probably love it, don't get me wrong, because they've probably never tasted anything that sweet. But when you're sitting there, that is like that, and then there's part of me going, yeah, I did just. The people are going to hear about hypocritical, but the fricadella is like, okay, it's probably got some preservatives in. Fine, I can't fight that, and it really annoys me because you know what? If something's killing us, it's them. Oh, the food lasts longer. I honestly, if there was a rabbit going across the road right now and I had my bow and arrow, yeah, I'll have it, right? I mean, like, I'd rather that avoid the preservatives that way, but I can't.
Let's discuss that actually. I wanted to kind of pull you on it earlier on when you spoke about you'd rather hunt your own blah blah blah, and I'm very interested in the thinking behind it in that, and I'm not calling you out because it's going to feel like that. I'm genuinely curious how much of that is ego and because it's like, yeah, I'm cool because I do it that way, and how much of it actually is genuinely that's how you believe you should or could or would live. You know, we all like to think that it's very much like the nerd thing. Everybody thinks it's like a one-upmanship thing. Every nerd kind of like always wants to be better than the next nerd, and unfortunately, a lot of them kind of deal in
a fantasy.
In a fantasy, but that fantasy is rarely actually a science fiction fantasy, which weirdly is like more a popular thing. But they all think they're a better Viking than everyone else, or they all think, you know, the big metalhead always think. It's just weird unspoken one-upmanship within a nerd culture that takes all this historical manliness, you might call it, and they realise it, as in they try and make it real, you know. And how much of that is actually, are you blagging yourself, or is that person blagging themselves? How much of it is genuine, this is the best thing for me, or is it just an enthusiasm you've got out of your own hobbies and upbringings and blah, blah,
so
blah.
we can go through all those different points because I think it is an important thing.
It is an important thing,
so,
because going out killing things because you think better is a different reason than doing it because it's the right thing to do for survival or for health. Or
dealing with that bias, there is that part of the bias. I won't deny it. There's that bit that you've always got to keep back in the mind. Is there's part of me going, that would be at minimum, and I'm going to say at minimum, it would be an experience that I would like to do in a properly scenario. And to be honest, the first time I'd rather do it with a gun rather than a bow.
Okay.
Because I can be a lot more consistent with a gun than a bow.
Have you shot a gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, where?
I shot them in America. I fired fully auto.
America!
44 Magnum, MP5, M4, M9, M4 Commando, which is 9mm.
Brilliant.
A fully automatic shotgun, a M4 that was made up to 50 cal.
Yeah. Bulgaria is where I shot guns.
Yeah, and shotguns on a few occasions.
Magnum, PPK.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And it just means more consistent because that bullet's going to go there, and the only thing that's different there. Whereas there's a lot more that can go wrong with shooting with an arrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's me saying.
And it can really hurt.
That means you've done it wrong.
It's still really hurt. Well, then again, a gun can really hurt. You bash.
But then I shoot arrows more commonly, so.
Okay. But crack on, yeah.
And so there is that part, and I'm not. It would be wrong for me not to include that as a kind of bias in the background. Is it my major reason? No.
You see, to say it's an enthusiasm, it's absolutely justified.
Yeah.
To play down that enthusiasm and use it to say, like, actually, this is how I believe it should be right now. It's kind of like. Ooh.
Now, the thing from that, like I said, I'm including that, but it's not my. Oh no. So, will I honestly say, can we survive in a society that all did that at this point in time? No, there's too many people. So that one's got to go out of the way.
Yeah, all the rabbits on the roundabouts will be gone in no time, won't they?
Yeah, because we butchered all the forests and stuff where they can actually roam and actually deal with that.
Yeah.
And amazingly, then we wouldn't be all grown on meat and all this other stuff, and we wouldn't have a problem of poor people being fat, because that's what's happening now. We flipped it the other way around. Yeah. Instead of rich people being fat, it's poor people being fat because we're eating processed foods and not
most rich people, I something about rich people that are bigger, healthier, faster and stronger.
Better food, less processed.
Very interesting.
That flip is a big one. It happened after World War II.
It's like when you go to London. Like if you go to London, I find the people are physically different. And when you see these well,
I say that as a Londoner, but yeah.
Well, like they are. You see these more richer type people, and they are bigger. There's somewhat.
There's more presence.
Bigger, yeah. And it's just think, I mean, I could eat the same things they eat. They could eat the same things I eat, but I still reckon it'd still be the same. So, is it genetically we're actually forking? Do you reckon?
There's probably a percentage chance where there might be a bit of the time machine.
So it's almost like ogrins, ratlins.
Oh no, that will happen. In long enough time, that will happen.
Subsects of humanity.
I
believe it is.
People seem to think it's on class line. As I said before, I think it's not as simple as class.
Yeah, I agree.
Because guess what? Class goes very quickly when everything goes to shit.
Yeah.
Because suddenly, oh look, I'm really good, and I'm really good on the internet, and so on and so forth. Yeah, what have you got? Chainmail and a sword. Doesn't really matter about class at that situation, and I'm using it as an extreme example, but if you're the guy or girl who works with engines and gets down and dirty and can make things work, you suddenly become king and queen compared to the person I used to do online banking.
Yeah,
congratulations.
If society goes to shit, it's the guy with the big shovel hands is the guy you team up with, the guy who can build a wall, the guy who can cut a tree.
And then the person who's got a plan of like what parts of chemistry and biology and science is actually needed to survive. It's like, oh, well, I already had my plan and I'm not going to tell you what it is because some fucker will try and steal it and I'm going to take over it if the apocalypse happens. Just to produce a shitload of ethanol.
So we've gone off on a mad tangent.
So back to hunting. Which is where we were.
And it's about ego hunting, ethical hunting and necessary hunting. I think that's how those are the three balls.
The thing is, we don't have a necessary hunting at this point in time. Really, we can't argue that here.
Me and you don't know.
Not here in England, not anywhere else. Somewhere in one of the islands off Hawaii, however, there is a necessary because they're out of control. So there's some deer out there. I can't remember what type they are, but they breed so quickly and they have no natural predators.
Yeah.
So they'll just eat the whole place, and they literally have to be killed every night. They're that prevalent. It's like the population on the island's 1,000. There's 5,000 deer there.
I'm interested to know.
I can't remember where it is. Joe Rogan brings it out.
Does it?
He's my source. Because he's a hunter, remember?
He's a what?
He's a hunter as well.
Yeah, he is a hunter, isn't he?
But the reason why, and the ethical side of it, so to speak, okay, is most hunting and hunting like Joe Rogan does and his friends do and so on and so forth, and the one that I would be more game to do, sorry for the pun, and I'm not sorry, is to kill the bucks after breeding season. Because what happens, you have the situation like, there was the story that was in the news and people got upset, and it's not Cecil the lion, although he is an example of that, but then we're just going to get outraged, was the black giraffe. They're not actually black, they just got darker. But the black giraffe that was killed in question, and everyone was like, oh, it's an endangered species. Like, yes, it was. It still is. But the reason why this giraffe was killed, and if you look up black giraffe, you can find it was killed because this bull giraffe was past its mating prime, so it cannot have children anymore. But what it was doing was beating up and hurting, and it hurt at least 2 or 3 younger male bull giraffes, black giraffes, that could breed before they could breed. So to ensure conservation, to ensure there were younger, more black giraffes, this one basically needed to be killed or removed from the population so it didn't kill more. It's like the elephants that go around going mad.
I'll tell you, the first 2 images that come up with black giraffe, there's some woman that's allegedly hunted and killed one.
That's the one, that's the story.
But that picture is blatantly photoshopped. They are not real. There's no way them pictures are real. She's not there. No way. No way is she there. That is not a real picture.
No, but that is the black giraffe. No, I'm completely.
I find a lot of these pictures of hunters. I look at them and my eye just doesn't. I'm not convinced by any of
I'm completely against this whole trophy picture nonsense.
It's bullshit.
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
That's not what it's about. Although, don't get me wrong, if you get attacked by a bear and take it down with a knife, you take that picture.
I couldn't find quick, obvious info on the deer in Hawaii. Yeah. Axis deer was the word that kept...
That sounds about right, though.
Okay.
But what I'm saying in that situation is that giraffe needed to be either removed somewhere else or killed. Now, what they did...
That was my ass, by the way. It's going to stink.
But what they did is they sold, and I think it was that lady, and I think it was pretty much... They said that that person went to go hunt a giraffe with a rifle, whatever, and she probably paid, I think it was more than 15 grand or something to do it.
Yeah.
Now, where does that money go? Goes to the gamekeepers and conservation effort to help the other black giraffe.
What well, it also we could assume. I would have.
That's where it starts.
I would have to believe you. Take what you.
As far as I'm aware, I will hold my hand up because if I'm wrong on that one. But the other one is that giraffe, etc., gives about £3,000 worth of meat.
Yeah.
Weight wise.
Yeah.
And they're not all taking that back to America because that's not going on a plane. So where do you think the rest of that meat goes? To the local people.
You'd hope.
I will still say I hope. It doesn't go in the trash bin. If it does, someone's grabbing it, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it could just be left to wildlife, or it could be...
there you go. If it's left to wildlife, is that the end of the world?
Who knows?
So, if it goes as the scheme as it should go to, and as far as I'm aware it did go to, is most people who are involved in the National Park Rangers are ex-poachers. The reason why they're poachers in the first place is because they've got no source of income, no source of food. Now suddenly, if you make them and hire them from these hunts, for example, like Cecil just happened to be the lion that the person had a tag to kill a lion, a male lion, and it happened to be Cecil because someone put a name on the lion.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Yeah. Now, that's a 20 grand situation. That's $20,000 put into an area where dollars go a lot further. Now, should it be a trophy? No. So is it someone's ego hunt to do it because are they eating it or not?
Are you saying, just for clarification, are you saying that these hunts that pop up, which I think are absolute distractions thrown at us by right?
Let's get hearts and minds.
Anytime some tragedy pops up like that, I would start looking at politicians and what rights they're getting rid of yours instead of getting on the Cecil bandwagon. But let me just clarify. So you're saying that that these hunts, again, I don't know, are actually sanctioned hunts?
Yeah.
By
the local
conservationists and the local park. That's very interesting information. And again, I have to take it at your face value because I have a freaking clue.
This is the same with hunting seasons in America.
Very interesting, that.
Hunting seasons in America, for example, you are only allowed to shoot the buck, so big antlers and so on and so forth. The reason for this is because, guess what? If you want the young, new generation to actually survive, they've only got a limited amount of space.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't happen, that big motherfucking antler fucker, right, is going to fuck up some poor baby deer and ruin the rest of the population because it goes, I haven't got any space, this is my territory now, fuck off. Yeah, there's a point where you go, there is only a limited amount of space, so do we let them starve, because that's what will happen, and you kill all of them because they're all now starving, or do you go, well, you've reached maturity now, I can feed myself for 3 months on this food in freezers and so on and so forth, take that out of the system.
So I'm going to pull it back to my original question because we've gone on quite broadly about the ethics and the organisation of hunting and blah blah blah, but really this is just a question that's just directed at you. What is it for you? Not necessarily the state of the world.
I want to...
You know, what is it that's attractive with hunting about you? You know, is it I think it's cool and I want people...
I'm also going to say this really clearly. I do not mean fucking fox hunting at all.
No, well...
I don't...
That's something different. You're talking about hunting to bring back some kind of... in almost a romantic way. An older way of living. That's what you're talking about.
I'm talking to hunt to eat.
We're not talking about being a set of turds. Doing it
I'm not talking about a sport.
Yeah, you're not talking
I'm talking about I want to go out there and to license, but then that's a limited
can
government.
Live like Viking weeks, you know. Have you seen it on the internet?
I kind of, if I had money, I'd like to build a sort of thing like that. But I want to do it because, one, it means that animal has had the chance to roam free in its own natural environment as much as possible.
Is it like this is so? The reason I'm probing you for it is for genuine honesty, as opposed to justification.
No, this is the same thing. This is my honest thing.
I just want to clarify for everybody, and it's about.
So there's that. In fact, it has its full life, or
me getting to know you.
Yeah, it's had pretty much its full life. I don't want to shoot lambs for fuck's sake, or anything in that concept, right? It is a way so that it's going to be better for me, and also, like, the quality of meat. It's not going to be full of antibiotics and all this crap, right? It will not have to travel hundreds of thousands of miles on a ship because it came from New Zealand. I don't know why I'm talking about sheep now, but still, like, it's come from.
Let's
take it even this way. It hasn't come from Ireland even.
No.
We haven't had to spend tons of fuel to get it from one place to another. Okay, it was either going to die one way or the other. It's either going to. We're the only animal that's most of the time we don't die in screaming pain. We normally die in a bed.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you hunt properly, it will go 1, 2, 3 steps and then gone. Okay? And it doesn't feel it because it's just basically
we
that.
assume.
As far as we're aware.
Yeah.
And it's not a throat slit sort of situation. It's just comatose death.
We hope.
Well, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert.
No.
But instantly. It's still better.
Surely they're not your reasons then for wanting to hunt. You don't think, do you know what, I should hunt because this will be X for the animal.
It's partly that, but I also, like I said, I think it's also better for me. I think it would be enjoyable to an extent. I think it will cover him physical, mental, and actually, no, I am back where I'm back, putting myself back into the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Rather than this of like, I'll just get this plastic packaging and I'll open it up and then this is really tasty, etc.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, I'm back in there. There is no loss of energy resources in it.
It does become about this romanticism of older ways, because what I'm not trying to do, by the way, I'm not trying to catch you out, and I'm not trying to. I'm trying to understand how somebody's mind works in these ways, because again, it is part of nerd culture to have this strange arrogance for things like this.
Yeah, no, I understand that one.
And you'll always find some nerd who knows more about a Viking than you, and he's willing to get stuck in and tell you all about it, and he's just like, I don't really care, and what am I trying to say? I suppose I am just trying to get to know you more, and what your impetuses are, which is why I'm asking for the honesty as opposed to the justifications, if you understand.
No, but that's my point of view in the mind as well.
And I'm wondering if you'd actually ever thought about it.
No, I have.
Have you thought about it?
I have thought about it before, because like I said, I looked at hunting going, and there was the different points of view. It's like, it's that question that really everyone should still have a think about, is the question where someone will decide whether or not they're going vegetarian or not, which is the question of, I'm eating meat. Something has died, so plants have died as well, but we're dealing with, there's the argument there, plants can hear and smell, that's a different point. And they've still got a rough nervous system, but...
Well, they also have various defences that say, don't fecking eat me.
Yeah, and we just ignore them now, which is worse.
Which is lectins.
Yeah.
So I've done my own work on that.
But
a little bit at least.
But hunting other mammals even. Let's just go with mammals.
Yeah.
And birds, because they include it as well, because they're something we can recognise.
Just call them creatures.
And
eating things.
Yeah. And it's that question of, I am actually eating muscle tissue off this.
Yeah.
Do I feel right by doing that? Now, we have the opportunity to not do that here.
Yeah, we're in.
That's the way to actually put it. You have got the opportunity to do that.
We're in a position of choice. Again, that's why it fuels me questioning of you, because you don't have to hunt, you don't need to hunt, but there is an attraction to you.
And I feel like it's a better way than just having these bulk farms, which are, and describe it as a form of necessary evil.
Yeah, so almost to a degree, what you
I want to avoid the evil.
Well, what's interesting is you're almost saying go hunting or go vegan, and if you can't hunt, go vegan. That's an interesting way of looking at it.
To an extent, and also not, because I wouldn't want to go vegan.
Well, you're not actually saying it, but if you can't hunt,
if you can't
eat a plant.
No, the truth is,
if you don't want to hunt, eat a plant.
To an extent, or if you can't justify that this is a dead animal, and honestly, I think there should be a part where it's like, if you ask me to kill a chicken or something like that, it's like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. I would rather, and actually, I'd rather take, to use a phrase, I'd rather take the sin on myself than some nameless person, machine that just goes.
I'll offer where I stand on. Would I do it? Do you know what? I would struggle as a being to take another being's life. I actually believe I would. Yet at the same time, I also do understand that I can become accustomed to things like that pretty quick, and I absolutely believe I could get used to it, and then it would become a norm. Would I actively pursue it? No, I don't believe I would. Does that mean I think other people should? That's their business. My life ain't theirs, and I don't meddle in their life. I do want to understand more, blah, blah, blah.
It's kind of questioning the divine. And this is the one that I've tried to explain to some students as well in PSHE, so Physical Moral Education, whatever it stands for these days. And because it changes. But essentially citizenship and be a better person. And the one that comes up, like school shootings and terrorism and all that sort of thing, and they go about, would you kill someone, so on and so forth, if the terrorists came in here? And I would emphatically go, yes. I would have no question about it. Now, that's not because I'm happy to kill someone. I'm never happy to kill someone. There's never...
Mate, you're a psychopath.
Right? No, that's the wrong justification for psychopath.
Okay.
Psychopath basically doesn't have empathy for other people.
I got you.
Not all psychopaths are like that. Just as a
might be a little bit of a psychopath.
More like to be a sociopath.
5 points, by the way.
5 points?
So the frigging test.
Oh. We'll have to set up where I actually get... because I need to buy it, PayPal and stuff and sort that out.
Oh, okay. How much is it? We're talking about the Jordan Peterson psychology.
Well, we'll have to do one where we actually set up, so maybe next week I'll come earlier and we'll sort it out.
Right.
Because then we can have it running before we start.
It's very interesting in where I click into all that.
Yeah. But it's a 2-screeny jobby, so you can do it while it's being shown there. And that'd be a better plan.
Okay. I'm not sure how I feel about everybody watching me take the test and then knowing what I am.
How you click.
I absolutely reckon I have this weird button where I actually could switch off empathetically and not give a fuck about a person.
It'd be good. It wouldn't be worthwhile going through all the individual parts. As in, it wouldn't be worthwhile going through all the individual parts because there's lots of blurbs on the bit. But rather looking, you're more this, more that, more that. That would be better. And then you can keep it for yourself for whatever to read the detail. Anyway, but the bit about killing someone and whether or not it's killing an animal as well is it's a bit more different for an animal or certain types of animal. I'll say types of animal because killing a dog makes very different from killing a cow, for example. There's lots of different parts to it, and yeah.
Depends who you're talking to, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because I can happily say your life's a life.
But there's the point, we can go on that one anyway.
Yeah,
but the point is about taking someone, let's talk about humans in this case. Taking a human's life. It isn't their choice that you're killing them. It's not their part. No matter whatever they're doing, it is your choice that you're doing it. And it's your decision to take away that divine entity from them. Okay? That you have to...
Set an alarm for something. I have no clue what I've set this alarm for.
And so you have to make that the choice to remove the divine from them. Because essentially we always maintain that is, if someone else is in trouble, we're going to try and save them. That they've got this essence, whatever it is, and it is, I call it divine, and it is stolen from a Jordan Peterson. It doesn't have to be God or like, oh, God made them. But that's the point that keeps on coming out. Is basically, that person has a right to life. but what they're doing and whatever it is, I believe they don't deserve that anymore, so I'm going to take that away from them. They don't take it away from themselves. I've decided either that their right is more important, they're some, like, in student school shooting, whatever, terrorist example, that I've decided their life and entity should not be taken away, and they're trying to do it, so I'm going to remove their divine part from it. Or, if it's in the psychopath moment, and not dealing with empathetics and not actually understanding that they are on the same level, which is where some psychopaths go into that level, because they don't understand empathy, so they don't see that person as another person. That's the point of that person becomes a thing. So it no longer has that divine part. They don't see it, or they've removed it, whichever.
They've basically objectified them, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Actual objectification, not the one that's thrown around everywhere. And I'm objectified, like, you objectify me, I'm a fat git. So you've objectified me because you've looked at a certain aspect of it. Congratulations.
Here's a question: how are you not an object? Animate or inanimate? How are you not an object?
And a lot of people's justification for it is like, oh, an object is something you act upon. Great, I act upon your words. Words objects?
Yeah. Well.
I object. And
Hey, we need to do more press-ups, by the way. We're
starting catching on time.
How long have we done so far? What time now? We've got
an hour 50 so far.
An hour 50, so that's about 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I reckon we've had almost an hour and a half break between sets
of press-ups. Or an hour at least,
sets of press-ups. So
as opposed to the half an hour of last time.
Yeah, it's time to smash some more.
Yeah.
As much as I want to go on, but I want to. Can I give this a proper stint? So here we go. Another set of 25. Now we're just getting. You kind of roll up me bits. So, anyway, here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Whoa. Woo! Now 8 pull-ups.
I like the point that we've somehow now turned the podcast into a point of, I don't know how many other podcasts or big podcasts that actually have consistent exercise elements included in them.
I mean, it might not last as
as much as
our
it comes in.
regime grows.
You won't be able to fit it in.
Yeah, it'll just become unwieldy, but
I think it's proven a point at this point in time.
Yeah, I think
and
we're getting into the swing. It'll just grow into whatever it grows into, won't it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more. 8.
Wow.
8.
We need a gypsies after that.
And I'm going to talk at the screen while he's busy, but one of the things that I particularly like about even doing this is, as someone who is 147 pounds, 23.4 stone, I think, might be 23.3 now, that there are people out there who will then use it as an excuse, and healthy at any size, and there's certain aspects that are correct to this, but one of the ways to actually deal with it is getting up and actually doing something. Now, no one is saying that doing what we're doing is easy, and we're doing it from 2 different positions. And at least from my position, because there's probably more people statistically that are trying to lose weight than gain weight. And I'm happy to do it for even through those times of, not feeling 100%. Okay, well, if I'm doing it not 100% and someone is 100%, it's time to get on with it.
Yeah.
And even if one person changed their mind and gone, 6'4", monstrosity such as myself, and I use those words lightly just because
You're not a monstrosity.
No, I'm not. But at the same time, people might be only in the bedroom, and people might use these terms to define themselves, whether or not it's emotional sort of thought about it. And yeah, I make light of those words, but if you use that as a case for some of your own views of self, me doing 20 more press-ups in about a minute and doing the 57 it was last time is actually, look, it can be done. Yeah, it can suck. And like pushing that extra bit.
Embrace the suck.
Yeah, and...
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, it's same point of view for me, for skinny people and Crohn's sufferers and IBS sufferers or colitis sufferers or whoever's been through a similar journey with me. I'm nothing special, and I've done it. Christian's saying basically he's in his position with his body type, his mindset, his diet, and he's saying he's nothing special, and he's doing it. That's an empowering thought. You know, both of us are sat here. It's like, again, I'll use the example of me with painting. I'm nobody special, and I can do my hobby and my profession incredibly well. And when I teach people, they put me on a pedestal, but essentially what I say is, well, I'm not special. What I can do, you can do. The only reason I can do what I can do is because I've got a greater awareness of X, Y, Z, and I'm willing to put myself through things in order to get where I need to be.
And we've got extra accountability now, so that's why we want you to join our...
Yeah, join in, because you can do it. If you're not happy with your life, join in with us.
Yeah.
Come and chat with us. I'm well up for it. You know, it's just about making ourselves. Change yourself, you change the world.
Yeah.
You know, so if you think the world's a shit place, then
I've explained my theory of the box and the universe.
There's a box in the universe?
Yeah, what? I'll do it after the press ups.
I was going to say, yeah, do it, tell us that.
I was just saying if you can remember that one.
We've still not got our pledges down either.
Well, we haven't really properly done it. It's just the fact that I remember about doing the, I say, no, any drinks is on my mind, no, take it off, because I'm...
Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's like, before I forget, because I'm a worm before I'm a man. I'm about to do the worm.
It's very much a worm, and the more you got tired, for time, all your form started to slip even more.
No, I felt it as well.
Interesting to watch that.
Thank you.
That's alright. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get that form right. 7, 8, 9, 14, 15, 16, 17, get the form, 18, 19, good form this last one, 20, I was in, man. Yeah, nice one, dude. Hey, you get your shit ticked off now.
Yeah.
There you go. 2 sets. So you've all finished with your pledges. I've still got another set to go, haven't I?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Right, so right. No energy drinks I've put down. How much weight do I lose between now and next week, considering you did 12 pounds in a week?
I still just want to aim at 7 pounds.
Okay, right. Okay, so you basically, this last week is a bonus.
Yeah. 7 pounds. I'm aiming at basically £1 a day.
Yeah.
Which will still put me at April 9th being time.
Yeah. Right, so do you want to up your press up things for next week? Do you want to do 3 sets of 20? I reckon you'll nail 3 sets. Considering you did 57 last week.
Yeah.
You'd be daft not to go for 20.
Yeah. Better form.
3 times. 3 times 20. DDP 6 days a week.
Yeah, just maintaining that. But I have got Viking training on Saturday, so I'll take that one. It's basically doing something active every day.
Yeah, so 6 days a week plus 1 Vike. Alright, and we were talking about fasting. I'm very interested in the idea of fasting. There's a channel I watch regularly called Vegetable Police. And it's very interesting.
Well, vegetables don't need police, they normally just lie there.
So
Demonetised there.
So this lad Casey is actually quite an endearing kind of fella. I quite like him a lot, and he's on a very similar journey to me, in that he had ulcerative colitis.
Yeah.
Mine was Crohn's and Crohn's colitis, so mine's different, and they have different reasons, but whatever. There's still a gut issue.
Yeah.
And he went vegan to heal himself. He moved countries to heal himself.
What countries are he moving from?
He moved from Canada to Thailand. And I got him when he was still at the vegan phase, but lately, over the last year or so, he started moving